Hello, my lovely angels. Okay, so today we're going to do part two. Yes, I'm talking. Oh, Jojo got excited. He says, I'm a lovely angel. Yes, you are a lovely angel. Okay, we're doing yoga now. You can come sit in my lap to do the yoga. Okay, today we're going to do part two of neck and shoulders. So you might once I'm done with all of this, you might create a playlist out of these three. Well, I'll create a playlist on my YouTube for you guys to check out. Out of these three, so you can take a really more in a deep stretch. So, but we're going to do part two. So, as always, we're going to start out. Oh, and that's the reason I told you this part. We're going to start out with a nice little grounding and centering. If you've made this into a playlist, you can ground and center more than once in a yoga session, and it's just going to do you some good. So it might feel, if you're doing a playlist, it might feel redundant, but it's great. The more grounding you can do is great. So I'm going to walk us through a little bit. I'm going to put my essential oils on. So if you're just coming to your mat, go ahead and take some time to do a little check-in with yourself. Are you in the mood for anything? Do you need some water? Which I do. So are you in the mood for any aromatherapy? Are you in the mood for any calming music? Are you um, in the mood for maybe some cozy socks? Today is going to be a seated flow, so cozy socks could be good. Maybe a nice little blanket to cover your legs, right? So I'm just going to put a little bit of essential oil, my own personal mixture, in on my cardigan so I can smell it. Give myself a nice little aromatherapy during the practice, right? And I'm also going to light some Palo Santos. If you do use any cleansing herbs at home, I'm starting to learn that white sage and Palo Santos are becoming a little endangered. So this Palo Santos is some I had before I found that out, but I have since switched to mugwort. And then my own homemade little things here, but I've got some Palo Santos from before I found out, so we're just going to go ahead and burn that up. And then I'm going to lay off the Palo Santos for a while. If you don't have any like herbs or anything at home that you want to light maybe a candle or some incense, right? Just taking a moment to ask ourselves, what do we need? What do we need? I'm going to move my little thing here so I can get a nice aromatherapy. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that candle lit, actually. Okay, I'm going to move it a little bit further away, though, because I'd like to be able to breathe. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a seat in an easy pose, right? So maybe we're cross-legged, maybe we're in lotus, maybe we're in cobbler, if cobbler's comfortable, like a butterfly kind of pose. Just finding a nice comfy pose. Remembering that throughout the practice, if we find ourselves uncomfortable, it is within our power to readjust and just remembering to keep an eye on that, right? And so we're going to go, oh my, I wonder if you guys could hear that. If you couldn't hear it, somebody just like peeled out in the street. But anyways, so we're going to take some time to start settling into the moment, right? And we're going to maybe find a gentle sway if we find sitting still to be difficult. Maybe we start to build our tolerance for sitting still, right? So maybe we sit still for a few breaths and then allow ourselves to return to our sway. This is a great way to explore our soft ends emotionally, to see the same way that we explored our physical range of motion last time and we'll continue to do this time, we could explore our emotional range of motion, so to speak, and see how long can I sit still until it starts to be uncomfortable for me. And then for our emotional range of motion, what we could do is allow ourselves to be in that discomfort for just a moment. And just see what it's like when we mindfully hold the discomfort of being still instead of sort of starting to move automatically to push it away. Just what happens when we mindfully hold that discomfort, and does the discomfort build, and what does that feel like? And then when we find ourselves ready, ready to move on from that, we can find our gentle sway again. And then maybe we could try it again if we feel like it, but only if we feel like it. So we're going to take a few deep breaths here, and maybe we could play with that little exercise, or maybe we do our own thing, but just a few deep breaths. Maybe we focus on the sensory experience that we brought with us today, maybe like with me and my lovely scent experience, but I can also hear some birds chirping outside my window. And so I am taking a gentle focus on the birds chirping outside my window, because spring will soon be sprung, and I am excited. As I sit here in my yoga room, I can see the snow melting on the pavement outside, and it is a lovely reminder to me of the beauty and joy of finding this same space every day as the world turns around me. A few more deep breaths here. I wonder if you can hear the truck that just drove by. It is pink and blue. Wonderful. And now hopefully we're feeling a little more centered in the moment. We might be feeling a little more embodied and aware. And we'll go ahead and start to take a gentle rubbing motion. Maybe we rub the fronts of our legs, the sides of our legs. Maybe we rub our arms, right? Just taking a gentle touch to start to be a little bit more embodied, feeling the sensations of our body, feeling the sensations of a gentle touch, the warmth of our hands, the gentle love that we brought to ourselves today for showing up, taking time for ourselves. And we're gonna go ahead and start the same way we did last time, by exploring the range of motion in our neck, especially because it's been maybe like a couple weeks since our last video. Everything got a little hectic. I know everybody, well, most of my people are down in Texas, so you guys know how hectic it got with all the snow and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and start exploring the range of motion in our neck through gentle circles, remembering to only explore to our soft end. It is not a matter of stretching necessarily as much as it is learning, getting to know our bodies. So exploring, where is that soft end? Where do I where do I circle to that feels a slight sensation without causing me discomfort? That I can feel the sensation of the stretch without discomfort. If we have little to no sensation in the area that we're exploring, be extra cautious, but even that in and of itself is data collected. Whenever we're ready, we can go ahead and reverse the circle if we haven't already been playing with that. Remembering to take some deep breaths. And now we're going to start to make the circle a little bit bigger by adding in our rib cage. So when my head drops back, my rib cage moves forward. And when my head drops forward, my rib cage moves back. Being extra patient with ourselves. This can be a little bit of yoga of the mind as well. So maybe at first it doesn't feel very natural. Maybe at first it takes us some time to get into the rhythm, and that's okay. And then maybe we start to, when we're in the rhythm, make our circle even bigger. And then if we want to add a little bit more yoga to the mind, we can inhale as we push the chest forward, feeling that air really fill our lungs, because we're allowing ourselves, opening up a new space, right? As we're opening up our chest, opening up our ribs, opening up this space for our lungs to expand even further. And then as we roll back, we exhale, using this backward motion to push the air up and out of us. If that's too much for you right now, if that's just pushing past your soft end, so to speak, your emotional soft end, maybe that's just not within your practice just yet. Stay back a little bit behind and just keep up with the circles. Keep practicing that rhythm, and we will get there together. All in time, we'll get there. Remembering not to put expectations on ourselves, but just to explore the comfort in our body. And we're going to go ahead and, let's go ahead and start to slow down this circle. Make it smaller and smaller. And then we're going to take the circle to the other side. So starting with the neck again. Continuing to explore this range of motion within ourselves, exploring our soft ends. Where is our soft end? We're going to go ahead and start slowly circling the ribcage. And then as we get comfortable, allowing our circle to get bigger and bigger. Inhaling as we roll forward, exhaling as we roll back. And once again, we can start to slow the circle, make it smaller and smaller. Whee! Until we find ourselves at a neutral spine. Alrighty, the next little flow we'll go through. I'm going to encourage you to use extra caution. We're going to go ahead and start quite simply. Here we go. It's going to be a seated cat-cow, essentially. So we're going to go ahead and start simply, exhaling, rolling the spine over, allowing the chin to drop to the chest, right? And then inhaling, opening up through the chest, opening up through the neck, opening up through the shoulders, right? So let's just take that for a few. Explore the sensations in our body from that. Do we feel that we are hitting our soft end? Do we feel what our range of motion is? Do we feel where we might be feeling those yummy, extra stretchy spots, or maybe feeling some discomfort? And if so, what parts of our bodies can we maybe move a little bit less to lessen our discomfort? And then if we are comfortable here, if we found our soft end and we're good, then we're going to stay here. However, if we feel like we need a little bit more, very mindfully, very cautiously, we're going to go ahead and inhale, nice big stretch up. Exhaling, interlacing the palms and taking them to the back of the head like so. Now as we inhale, we're going to open up the elbows, open up the chest, being really, really cautious not to crunch the neck in this position, right? So just a nice open neck and chest. And then as we exhale, we're going to go ahead and fold in, not using our hands to really push or anything, but literally just using the gravity of our elbows moving down to give ourselves a gentle little traction. Inhaling, opening up. Exhaling, closing in. So we're either here doing our little cat-cow, inhale, exhale, or we're here getting a little bit of a deeper stretch. Wherever we are, listening to the body, exploring our range of motion. Maybe we start to move off the beaten path here. I'm just rocking back and forth, feeling the stretch on opposite sides of my shoulders. Just, observing the sensations. Observing the change of the sensation with the change of my body, ever so cautiously, ever so carefully. If you've ever had a neck injury before, I don't suggest any rocking at all in neck stretches. Alrighty, and then wherever we are, let's all go ahead and take our hands to the back of our necks and take a little bit of a massage right where our skull meets our neck. Right here at the base of our skull. Some people might say it's like the soft spot on a baby's head. That's actually where your occipitals are. And those little buggers are the cause of many a headache. So if you can go ahead and give yourself, all I'm doing is taking my fingers and doing little circular motions down here at the base of my skull, giving myself a little bit of a massage, a little bit of love back and forth across the base of my skull, even coming in. Here we go to the side over here, all up in where your skull meets your neck. Yes, yes, that feels wonderful. If you have headaches, this is usually the cause of most of my clients' headaches. Also, a lot of times when I work out trigger points in these areas, my client's sinuses will open up. So this could even be causing, this could be causing headaches, but it could also be like a side effect of maybe chronic sinus issues. If you have frequent sinus headaches, you might be tense back here without even realizing it. So giving that little area some love. I'm rocking up a little bit into my scalp. Wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and take another big stretch up on an inhale and break down and let my fingers rain down. Let's see. Yes, yes. Okay. So next we're going to get a little bit of a stretch into the arms and upper shoulders. So let me think. So we're going to go ahead and start out with a lovely little self-love and hug flow. So I'm going to go ahead and open up on the inhale. Big, nice, wide open arms, open to receiving, open to accepting, open to allowing. And then I'm going to exhale and wrap my arms around myself. Here we go. One arm on top of the other and give myself a little hug. Maybe I take the same sort of rocking motion to observe the sensations in my back. Maybe I allow myself to rest in and smell the yummy essential oil that I put on my cardigan earlier, right? And then I'm going to inhale back open. Ooh, boy. Open to receiving, open to accepting. And then as I'm exhaling, I'm going to put the other arm on top, accepting and receiving the love that I'm giving myself. Alrighty, we can take that a few times. If eagle arms is in your practice, this would be a great time to do that as well. If you want a deeper stretch, I find eagle arms a little difficult, but if that's something that you find comfortable in your body, if that's a stretch that you find wonderful, go ahead and take it here. And then you can, instead of doing the inhale, exhale flow, you can take it for a few inhales and exhales on each side. And then inhaling and exhaling. If I want to add a little more exploration of the sensation, I can start to lift my elbows up. Ooh, almost like I'm getting ready to take off a shirt, and then allow them to sink back down before I inhale, open, exhale, close, and take that same motion on the other side, lifting my elbows up just a little bit. Wonderful. And lowering them back down. This might not even seem like you're doing much, but believe me, you're doing a lot. Lifting the elbows, opening the chest. Ooh, deep back bend. And then taking it on the other side. One last time. Go ahead and even out wherever you are. Lovely. Go ahead and release. Shake it out. Shake it out. Ooh, I feel it. Okay. Take any motions you feel like you need to sort of bring your whole body back to neutral. And now we're going to stretch into often neglected areas in the back of our shoulders. This might be very uncomfortable, so I want you to be very cautious. Again, we're only exploring our range of motion to our soft end and no further. So you might want to grab like a strap or maybe a tea towel or a scarf to help you in a stretch if the stretch finds to be too uncomfortable. So I'm going to go ahead and take my right hand and place it on my hip, the palm on my hip here. And then I'm going to reach across and I'm going to take my right elbow and start to just pull it towards my chest. And as you can see, I'm not even moving that far. See, my elbow's not even pointed that far. Like I barely moved it a couple inches, right? But I feel it right now in the back of my arm. I feel the sensation. So I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to push myself. If you can't even reach across to your elbow, that's totally fine and totally natural. That's when we grab the tea towel, wrap it in, and then pull it. Let me see if I can show you. And hopefully we have brought pillows to the mat for us. So yeah, so if we can't reach the elbow, if that's just not within our range of motion, which is totally fine because we're not expecting anything of our bodies, right? We're really just here to learn. Then I'm going to go ahead and wrap this around me before I put it on my hip here. And then I can take this here and just a gentle pull, right? Very gentle. Again, just exploring range of motion. So we'll go ahead and take this on one side. We're definitely not going to do any rocking, flapping motions or anything like that in this position because these muscles are often very, very tense for many, many of my clients. So we really don't want to push those too hard. You probably, well, I don't want to speculate. You might not have much range of motion here because this is just often, even massage therapists tend not to work these muscles. But it's really great for you to be able to get them worked out. So go ahead and release and then gently move your elbow back, facing like to the top of your mat, I guess you could say, before you release your hand. Go ahead and take some gentle wrist circles here. Maybe even a nice little wrist massage, right? Before we move on to the other side. So same thing here. I've got my hand on my hip and my elbow is pointed towards the back of my mat right now, pointed sideways completely. And so then I'm going to start to kind of pull it in towards me. Noticing the sensations in the back of my arm, the side of my shoulder. I'm noticing right now, for instance, a little bit of a pain in my elbow. So I'm going to release the stretch just a little bit to give my body a little bit more room to play. Because I don't want to cause pain, and I'm not here to tell my body that it must do something that's painful to it, right? I'm really just here to work within my means and to be thankful for the means that I have. My body is so wonderful, so beautiful. The wonderful, beautiful things it's gotten me through. I'm going to care for it the way that it has cared for me. Go ahead and release that. There we go. Shake it out. Wrist circles. A little bit of a massage maybe. And then we're going to go ahead and take, I'm getting all zenned out. We're going to go ahead and take a side body stretch flow. So we'll go ahead and on the inhale, as we're opening up, right? We're opening up through this side body, allowing our lung to really open up into this ribs. We're going to go ahead and inhale over side body stretch. I've got my right hand down on the ground and my right elbow sucked into my side. So I'm not, reaching all the way out here so I can go really far. I'm really exploring into the side body stretch, and then I'm going to take my ribs and sort of smear them up, as Adrienne likes to say, smearing the honey, so that I'm opening up this chest part, moving it up towards the sky as I am sinking into the side body stretch. Almost like I'm imagining my torso between two panes of glass. And then exhaling and then rolling over to the other side. Doing the same smearing up motion. Maybe even taking my hand to my rib cage, smearing, smearing. And then I can kind of take that into a flow now. Now that I've got my alignment in my mind. Inhaling as I stretch, exhaling as I come through center. Alrighty, a few more on each side. And whenever we're ready, coming back to center, finding ourselves nice and comfortable, maybe giving ourselves another quick circle with the neck. We're going to take a few moments here to let the practice sink in. So we're going to return to our breathing, maybe even returning to that. I'm going to go ahead and put my feet out in front of me because my knees are getting mad. Returning to maybe the sensory experience that we brought for ourselves today, or maybe even returning to that practice of finding stillness for as long as that's comfortable. We'll take a few deep breaths, maybe focusing in on the sensations in the body now that we've worked the neck and shoulders a little bit. Wonderful. And whenever you're ready, you can now return to your day, hopefully feeling a little bit better, feeling a little bit looser. Hopefully we've released some tension in the neck and shoulders. And I'll see you next time for part 3.